what's going on, everybody? It's Samuel Akem here, and I'm back with another one. I appreciate you guys for tapping into another Akem's analysis. We are previewing the FCS playoffs first round, man. I cannot believe the FCS playoffs are here. It is going to be phenomenal. Whether you're riding with the Grizz, the Bobcats, or your favorite NFL team, it's time to put your sports knowledge to the test with Sportsbet Montana. Bet legally right here in state at kiosks inside your favorite local bars and casinos. Grab a drink, check the lines, and lock in your picks, spreads, over-unders, and winning parlays. Bet local, win local, and bring the action closer to home with Montana's exclusive sportsbook, Sportsbet Montana. Your game, your bets, your state. Powered by the Montana Lottery. It is going to be a phenomenal week in FCS football. We are going to preview each and every matchup taking place, all 8 of them. First, we're going to be talking about Youngstown State versus Yale. Then we're going to get into Villanova, Harvard. Then we will talk about SDSU, New Hampshire. Then we will talk about North Dakota, Tennessee Tech, Lamar versus Abilene Christian, Illinois State versus Southeast Louisiana, South Dakota versus Drake, Rhode Island versus Central Connecticut, and that will be it. But there are some phenomenal matchups in FCS football this weekend. I cannot wait to see what happens. Make sure you guys hit the like. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys leave me a comment down below, and we will get straight into it. Okay, first things first, we are looking at Youngstown State versus Yale. This game is about Bo Brungard. You guys know, I think Bo Brungard should win the Walter Payton Award. He has been phenomenal this season. He's one of the top rushers in the country. He's thrown for a boatload of yards. He has a ton of touchdowns. He's put up a ton of points. I don't know how you could look at anybody else. Teron Dickens, Cole Payton, all have been good. None have been better than Bo Brungard. I mean, this team is in the playoffs because of Bo Brungard. This team is really good offensively because of Bo Brungard. Their rushing offense is one of the top 15 in the country because of Bo Brungard. I mean, it starts and stops with Bo Brungard. For Yale, I think it starts and stops with Josh Pitzenberger, the running back. He's got about 1,200 rushing yards on the season. I think it comes down to the run game for both of these football teams. Obviously, when you get into November, you get into December, it becomes a game about the run game. If you can run the ball, you can play deep into the playoffs. You got to run the ball. You got to stop the run. It's about the run game. It's about defense. And, I think Yale has enough defense. They have enough offense. But do they have enough to stop Bo Brungard? That's really what it comes down to me. Bo Brungard is the best player in the country. With Yale, will Yale be able to slow him down? YSU is a really good rushing offense, mostly because of Bo Brungard. Yale has been a really good rushing defense. Something has to give. This is like a strength on strength type of thing. Yale is the number 12 Youngstown State is the number 12 rushing offense in the country, averaging 205.8 yards a game. And then Yale is the number 12 rushing defense, allowing 109.3 yards a game. I think it'll be a little bit difficult for Yale to fully stop Bo Brungard, not only because he can hand it off, but I mean, when you have a running back, when you have a quarterback who's really good at the zone read, who's really good at the read option, it makes it very, very hard to stop because he can hand it, he can keep it. And obviously, if those DNs start keying in on Bo Brungard really, really hard, that's going to be very good for the Youngstown State running backs. That's what makes him so difficult. And then, he can throw the ball as well. So, I mean, Bo Brungard brings so much to this offense. He brings so much to the table. It's a full-time job being able to stop this guy. Defensive coordinators have been trying all year, and very few have been successful. I mean, you look at one of the best defenses in the country in North Dakota State, maybe the best defense in the country. They weren't even able to stop this guy. There's like a gap in my beard. What's going on? They weren't even able to stop this guy. So, I mean, that's what it comes down to for me. I'm not trying to spend too much time on all of these games because we don't have a ton of time to waste. But one place where Yale could capitalize against Youngstown State is their lackluster defense. I'm not breaking any news here or anything like that. I think everybody kind of understands that Youngstown State running defense, or not even running defense, that Youngstown State defense has been subject to getting taken advantage of. I mean, whether it's in the pass, whether it's in the run, preferably in the pass, they're the 111th ranked passing defense in the country. They allow 251.4 yards a game through the air. Now, the one saving grace that Youngstown State has for them is Yale's not necessarily a top-tier passing offense. They're 66 in the country in passing offense at 206.3 yards a game. This is another situation where something has to give. Who is going to win this matchup? The passing offense versus the passing defense of Youngstown State? Something has to give. Now, one place where I feel like Yale may have the upper hand, well, they definitely have the upper hand. Can they take advantage of it? Yale is number 4 in the country in sacks, averaging 3.4 sacks a game. If you guys know math, if you guys know how many games Yale has played, they played 10 games. That means they have 34 sacks on the season. That is phenomenal. 3.4 sacks a game is crazy. If they can get to the quarterback, if they can get to Bo Brungard, if they can make him uncomfortable, I think there's a really good chance where Yale could be in this game. I think this is going to be, I don't know if it just depends. It depends on what type of game Bo Brungard is going to have. If Bo Brungard is going to have a Walter Payton Award type game, I find it hard for Yale to be able to get a victory. If Yale can stop Bo Brungard, I think Yale can get out with a victory, but it starts with the defense. Another thing that Youngstown State is really, really good at, they're good on third down. They're the number 13 third down conversion percentage offense in the country, converting 47.7% of their third downs. That means when they're faced with a third down, they convert nearly 50% of those. Yale will have to stop that. They'll have to stop that. They got the 29th ranked third down conversion percentage defense at 35.7%. So, I mean, it's not like when you look at the numbers, it's not like these teams are super, like one team is super better than the other, but also they play in different conferences. Youngstown State is playing in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. They play North Dakota State. They play North Dakota. They play South Dakota. They play South Dakota State. I mean, they're playing some of the best teams in the country. Yale, on the other end of things, they played Harvard. I think they played Penn this year. I mean, you look at their schedules and it's like, this one team is battle tested, one team is not. And that's probably going to be a recurring thing as we go through a lot of these games is how battle tested are these teams? How battle tested is Yale? Obviously, they beat the best team in the Ivy League in Harvard. They are the best team in the Ivy League since they beat Harvard, but they beat the second best team in the Ivy League in Harvard. So, I mean, they are battle tested to an extent, but I mean, Yale has been through the ringer, man. Like, they've had to play some really tough opponents who are good at different things. Some of them have been good at passing. Some of them have been good at rushing. One thing you can be assured about the Missouri Valley is those teams are going to try to run the ball, and most of them are going to be pretty decent at stopping the run. So Youngstown State has been tested. I like Youngstown State in this game, but I think Yale has a good chance to get the upset, but you got to be able to stop Bo Brungard. I'm not trying to hang on to him and just make it about him, but to me, this game is about Bo Brungard. He is my pick for Walter Payton Award. I don't get a vote, but he would be my pick if I had a vote. And basically, it's all about him. If you let him go off, he will go off. If you stop him, there's a chance that you guys can get the victory. But we will see. That is my thoughts about this Yale versus Youngstown State game. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about that, and I will move on. Big Sky Football builds legends, and so do we. At LM Fine Jewelry, we help Montana couples create unforgettable moments. From championship-worthy diamonds to custom pieces that tell your story, this season, make your legacy sparkle. Located on American Way in Missoula and Main Street in Kalispell, L&M Fine Jewelry is the official jeweler of Akem's Analysis and the Samuel Akem YouTube channel. Make sure when you're looking for that special ring for that special person, you go check out L&M Fine Jewelry. Let L&M Fine Jewelry be your diamond destination. Okay, next we are talking about Villanova versus Harvard, man. I think Harvard has the best quarterback in this game in Jaden Craig. He's one of the better FCS quarterbacks. He will need to play a really, really clean game, in my opinion, for them to come out with this victory. Yeah, I mean, Jaden Craig is the better quarterback, but when you look at this Harvard squad, they don't have a lot of stars. There's not a lot of stars on this Harvard squad. I mean, they got a lot of good pieces. Their receiver, I'm blanking on his name right now, but their number one receiver is a really, really good player. Him and Jaden Craig have a really, really good relationship. But I mean, there's no stars. The running game has been really good for Harvard. There's been a lot of things that Harvard has done well, but is Harvard good statistically? This is what I want to know, because I'm looking at the numbers. Obviously Harvard, a lot of the statistics stand out. The number 7 rushing offense, these are in the country. The number 7 rushing defense in the country. The number 5 passing offense in the country. The number 13 scoring defense in the country. The number 9 scoring offense in the country. Number 7 in sacks allowed. Number 9 in third down conversion percentage offense. What my question about this Harvard team is Harvard good statistically because they played in the Ivy League, or is Harvard good statistically because they are good statistically? We are going to find out. Villanova's been pretty good this season. I don't know if they've been necessarily tested that much this year, but Villanova has been tested, I would say, probably more than this Harvard squad has been tested. They're obviously playing in the CAA. They did beat Monmouth. I believe they beat. No. Did Villanova? Let me just look it up. Let me not try to guesstimate, and I'll look it up right now. I got the numbers in front of me, but I want to see their schedule to see who they've beat and who they haven't beat, because I know they're 9-2, so they've only lost 2 games in the season, but they only played 11 games this season, so that's something to pay attention to, which is interesting. But yeah, so they lost their one FCS loss was to Monmouth, but they did beat New Hampshire, who's another playoff team this year. Harvard, on the other end of things, Harvard has not beat a playoff team this year. Harvard lost to Yale. That was the one playoff team that they faced. So it's like, yes, Harvard is really good. Yes, Harvard's numbers look really good, but it's like, how good are they? Because when they started to play the tough part of their schedule, they played Princeton. They struggled in the first half. They played Penn. They won on a field goal. They played Yale. They lost. So it's like you start to look at this Harvard squad. Yes, they're good. Yes, the numbers look good, but this ain't the Ivy League anymore. You are in the playoffs and you win or you go home. And, yeah, this is Villanova will be the best team Harvard has played this year. Now, how much better is Villanova than Yale? I don't know. I think they're probably all around the same level. But Villanova will be some of the stiffer competition that Harvard has played this year. And like I've said, when I've seen Harvard play stiff competition, they've struggled. I watched that Penn game. I watched that Princeton game. I didn't get to watch Yale, obviously, because Cat Grizz was that day. But I watched most of their tough games. And I didn't like, obviously they won. And when they're able to win tough games, that's something to give credit to. But Jaden Craig, in my opinion, will have to have, and I feel like the quarterback of Harvard will have to have a really, really good game. The reason I hesitated right there is because I just want to make sure I'm getting his name right. Jaden Craig, yes. Okay. I felt like for a second, is it Jaden Craig? It is. Harvard, I already mentioned that. Is Harvard truly? Yes, I already mentioned that. So this is another point that I wanted to make. Harvard needs to be really good on third down to get a win in this game. They must get their defense off the field and be able to run the ball consistently. Rushing offense-wise, Harvard, although they're good rushing defense, good passing offense, pretty decent passing defense, pretty good scoring offense, pretty good scoring defense, their rushing offense is number 41 in the country. They average 196.7 yards a game on the ground. That is second to their third down defense. That is the worst statistic that they have. They'll need to be really good in there. Like I mentioned with the last preview, teams that win in the playoffs are able to run the ball. They're able to stop the run. Harvard's got to be able to run the ball. They're clearly really, really good at stopping the run, and that is my counterpoint for Villanova. Villanova's got to find a way to run the ball. Harvard's been really, really good at stopping teams from running the ball. For a lot of the beginning of the season, there was barely any teams that were able to go over 100 yards rushing on them. That is something that Villanova needs to lock down in this game to be good at. And it's interesting because you look at the numbers, and nationally, Harvard, like I said, is better statistically nationally than Villanova. But I would say Villanova's probably played some tougher competition this year. Not super tougher, because if you look at the CAA, how it is these days, there's not a ton of tough teams in that conference. Obviously, they got 3 teams in the playoffs this year. Probably could have got 4. What'd they get? Villanova, New Hampshire, and then I'm going blank, man. My brain. New Hampshire. Why is my brain like this? Where's that third team at? Rhode Island. Duh. Villanova, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. They should have got Monmouth in there as well. But just looking at Villanova, some of the numbers are towards the top, but they are not top 15 in really any of the numbers that I'm looking at. I didn't look at all the numbers, but they're not top 15 really, and they're not even really top 25. They're not top 25 in anything. The best stat they have is their rushing defense. They're number 26 in the country in rushing defense at 131.5 yards a game. Which honestly bodes well for them. They're pretty decent in rushing defense, and Harvard's not the best at rushing offense. I mentioned that I think this could be the best game of the weekend. I think it's going to be pretty close. I don't think these teams I don't think one team is super better than the other, so I think it's going to be one in the margins. I think it's going to come down to the little things. I think Jaden Craig, the reason I may lean Harvard's way is because I think Jaden Craig and his play and his arm could be the reason that they win this game, but you got to show it. You got to go prove it. They got the number 5 passing offense in the country, 291.5 yards a game. Jaden Craig is a big reason for that. He's going to have to play his best game. So that's what I think about this Harvard versus Villanova game. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below, and I will move on. Okay, I realize now that I haven't been mentioning who these teams are going to play if they win. So I'll start doing that now. I might have mentioned that with the first game. Did I mention that? I didn't, but I'm going to mention it now. So we got South Dakota State versus New Hampshire. The winner of this game will play Montana. And I think this game, I like South Dakota State in this game, whether they have Chase Mason or not. From what I've been seeing online, from what I've been seeing from the reporters in Brookings, it sounds like Chase Mason is really looking like he's going to play. But obviously, we don't know because I think he suited up a little bit I think on Saturday he suited up. He didn't play, but I think he warmed up with the team. So I think they're letting people know that, like, hey, he's getting to that point. He's getting to that point. He's getting closer. Maybe they're just doing some gamesmanship. We will find out on Saturday. But I think if Chase Mason plays, and that's the thing, I think everybody's assuming that Chase Mason's going to be back and this offense is just going to come alive. But I mean, dude's been off for like what, a month, almost a month and a half at this point. It's not just going to come back like that. He is going to have some struggles. Everything's not going to be perfect. But I do like South Dakota State in this game. One, because I like their defense a lot. They got the number 21 scoring defense in the country at 21.17 points a game. Their defense did have some flaws during their 4-game losing streak. They were making a lot of mistakes. But whether it's Jack Henry, whether it's Chase Mason, I really like their chances no matter who's playing. I predict that South Dakota State is going to be going to Missoula to play the Grizzlies. But we will see. One thing that South Dakota State has really struggled with this season is running the ball. Historically, South Dakota State has been a really, really good rushing team. That's what really, they kind of leaned on when they had Pierre Strong, when they had Isaiah Davis, when they had Angel, last year. They've had some really good running backs, and they've been able to run the ball. They've really had some really good quarterback play as well, but it starts with the running game. Julius Loffridge, 4,000 career rushing yards. He really needs to have a really, really good game this week, and I think they need to lean on him. Like I mentioned, Jack Henry threw the ball 17 times last week. Jack Henry was 6 for 17 last week. That's 34% completion percentage. They won that game. This team is not built to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. No matter if it's Chase Mason, no matter if it's Jack Henry, they are built on being able to run the ball. And they ran the ball on a pretty damn good run-stopping team in North Dakota. North Dakota's been one of the best rushing defenses in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. South Dakota State was still able to rush over 200 rushing yards. So Julius Loffridge is the big key for me in this game. The quarterback is not so much of a big key, but I will be keyed in to see if Chase Mason or Jack Henry is going to play. I don't think it holds a lot of weight on which quarterback is playing. I just think it really the running game matters. The running game matters to me. South Dakota State has a really, really good rushing defense. New Hampshire is not good at running the ball. Their rushing offense ranks number 84 in the country at 133.9 yards a game. And South Dakota State has the 18th best rushing defense in the country, 118.5 yards a game. So, and then on third down, South Dakota State is really good on third down. The number 8 third down defense at 31.4%. So I really like South Dakota State in this game. New Hampshire was able to get some big wins this season. Most importantly, let me look. I'll look who New Hampshire beat this season. But they won some big games. New Hampshire was able to win some big games this year. Like, who did they beat? They lost to Villanova, they lost to Rhode Island, but they did beat Monmouth and they did beat Maine. Maine was like a bubble team. Monmouth, in my opinion, should have been a playoff team. But then you look at, they lost to Dartmouth, they lost to Villanova, they lost to Rhode Island, so I really lean towards saying New Hampshire, it just doesn't have enough to win this game. I think South Dakota State should win this game comfortably, but I mean, it's the playoffs. And obviously South Dakota State has lost 4 of their last 5 games. They went on a 4-game losing streak before winning against North Dakota to finish the season. And credit to them for winning that game. I think a lot of that had to do with Jack Henry. Although he was 34% completion percentage, Jack Henry made a good throw in overtime when they needed it the most. Julius Loffridge showed up when they needed it the most. They need everybody to show up in this game. One place where New Hampshire does play well is their passing defense. They got the number 16 passing defense in the country, allowing 175.8 yards a game through the air. They'll have to make this South Dakota State team one-dimensional. And I mean, New Hampshire has to really, really be good against the run, and which they can be. Their rushing defense is number 63 in the country, allowing 158.8 yards a game. But if they can keep South Dakota State near 150, I think New Hampshire has a really good chance in this game. I just don't know. I just don't know if they're going to have enough. If they're going to have enough. You look at New Hampshire statistically, their leading rushers at 730, their leading receivers at 760, their quarterbacks at 2,600. I mean, they're a good football team. I just don't know if they're good enough to beat a Missouri Valley Football Conference team, especially considering how good the CAA has been compared to how good the MVFC has been. I mean, you think about the level of talent that both teams have played against this year. South Dakota State by far is the more battle-tested team in this matchup, and I expect them to really show that as this game plays along. But Could it be close? Yeah, but I really expect South Dakota State to win this game comfortably. But we will see. Chase Mason, Jack Henry, we'll see who runs out there. But I think the key for South Dakota State is Julius Lothridge, the run game. The key for New Hampshire needs to be stopping the run. Because I don't think, no matter who is at quarterback, I don't think this is a high-level passing football team. New Hampshire needs to make South Dakota State one-dimensional. You have to make South Dakota State one-dimensional. Take something away. Whether you take the pass away, whether you take the run away, take something away, make them one-dimensional, see if they can beat you. New Hampshire's offense got to show up. They got the number 54 scoring offense in the country, number 23 scoring defense. Well, let's look at offense. Number 54 scoring offense, number 84 rushing offense, number 44 passing offense. And then on third down, offensively, they're the number 52 third down conversion percentage offense. So really middle of the pack offensively for New Hampshire. When you're looking at the landscape of FCS football, they'll have to play a really good game. They'll have to play really clean. Also, too, another big key in this game is turnovers. Turnovers kill you. They kill you in any regular game. In the playoffs, turnovers are a death sentence. You cannot turn over the ball. You cannot give away possessions. You must make the most of every single possession in this game. If New Hampshire can do that, I like their chances. So you guys let me know what you think about the South Dakota State versus New Hampshire game in the comment section down below, and I will move on. Okay, I really like this matchup. North Dakota versus Tennessee Tech. The winner will go to Tarleton State to play the number 4 seeded Tarleton State Texans. I like this matchup for a lot of reasons. From Tennessee Tech standpoint, you're a team that's been really, really good this year, or you appear to be really, really good. You're 11-1. You beat every FCS opponent. You haven't lost a game in the FCS. You really kind of ran through your schedule. The biggest test you had was at the end of the season when you played UT Martin. You beat them as well. So you look really, really good. But how good is the Big South OVC? I don't think the Big South OVC is very good this year. UT Martin, who was the best team you played, finished the season 6-6. Your strength of schedule is in the trash. You haven't really played anybody. But, if you feel like you really are one of the top teams in the country, this is a perfect opportunity before you go get to play one of the top teams in the country in Tarleton State. North Dakota, 7-5. Fringe playoff team, was probably on the bubble, was probably one of the last teams in. But they're good. They're good. They're good on defense. They have a good quarterback. They have a good running back in Sawyer Seidel. They have a good quarterback in Jerry Kaminsky. Their defense is good. They stop the run. This is an opportunity for Tennessee Tech to really prove that, hey, maybe our Big South OVC schedule was light. Maybe we didn't really play anybody, but we just beat a really good, a middle of the pack MVFC football team. We beat an above average MVFC football team. Because I believe North Dakota is the better team in this game. I believe North Dakota is better, although their record's not as good. North Dakota has went through the gauntlet as well. All the MVFC teams, all the best MVFC teams this year went through the gauntlet. North Dakota played Youngstown State. They played South Dakota. They played South Dakota State. They played North Dakota State. And they played all of these people tough. They also played Montana. Now, obviously, most of those, they lost. I think they lost every game that I mentioned they lost. But they played, and they played them tight. They played Montana, lost by 1. They played North Dakota State, they lost by 5. They played South Dakota, they lost by 5 as well. They played South Dakota State, they lost in overtime. This is a team that has been battle tested. This is a team that knows what tough competition looks like. Now, obviously, I'm saying that as they've lost to all that tough competition, but I like North Dakota's chances in this game. For North Dakota, you get a chance to go and prove that, hey, we lost to all these top teams in the MVFC. We weren't, they didn't show up this year, man. Like, North Dakota was a good football team. They played well, but when it came down to it, they didn't win when it mattered the most. And that's what it really comes down to for this North Dakota football team. So they have a chance to not only go prove it against Tennessee Tech, but then you'd have an opportunity against the Tarleton State team, who's one of the top teams in the country. They're the 4 seed because the committee clearly thought they were a really good team. They're 11-1. So you have an opportunity to prove some things here and become a quarterfinal football team, but you got to get through Tennessee Tech first. So I think this is a prove-it game for both Tennessee Tech and North Dakota. And, I think we may see a dogfight in this game. If we don't see a dogfight, I like North Dakota to win it, maybe by a score 10 points, 15 points, but I don't think we see a blowout in this game. I don't know if we're going to see a blowout in this game just because, Tennessee Tech doesn't know what it means to lose to an FCS opponent. They just don't know it. They haven't seen it. And although, say what you want about Tennessee Tech's strength of schedule, it's the same thing I would say about Montana. When a team doesn't know how to lose, it just, and I see I'm frozen right here, but I know you can still hear me. when a team doesn't know how to lose, I like that because I think it just builds a tremendous amount of confidence. I think, you know, the team is going to be feeding off of that. And it's just like, hey, although we haven't played anybody, we don't know what losing looks like. We don't even know what the word losing is. We don't even understand that. We don't even comprehend that. Losing? What are you talking about? So I really like this game to be a really, really close game. Tennessee Tech did not play or beat a playoff team this season. That may be something that UND can take advantage of. UND has played a bevy of playoff teams this season in defeat. They may end up winning by being more battle tested. Looking at the numbers, UND has the number 16 scoring offense, number 19 scoring defense, number 17 rushing offense, number 8 rushing defense. That is going to be something they lean on because Tennessee Tech leans on their rushing offense. Although Kakoa Visperis is a good quarterback, he's very accurate. I'm a big fan of Kakoa Visperis. UND is really good at stopping the run. Really, really good at stopping the run. But Tennessee Tech is too. Tennessee Tech is the number 2 rushing defense in the country, allowing 76.1 yards a game. The caveat to that, and the question I would ask to that is that because they played in a weaker Big South OVC, or is that because they're really just really good in the front seven? Are they really good at just stopping the run? We will find out, but I think that's going to be a key in this game. Another thing, Tennessee Tech is number 2 in sacks at 3.75 sacks a game, man. The Tennessee Tech numbers look really, really good, but it's hard to buy into the Tennessee Tech numbers for me because I just don't know the level of competition they've played. Their strength of schedule is not strong. They were beating people, putting up 50, 60 most weeks. There was a point in the middle of the season where this Tennessee Tech team was averaging 50 points a game. I mean, that is astronomical. Are they going to be able to do that against North Dakota? I think this is a situation where, you know, because we have seen North Dakota kind of fall off the wagon late in the season, this could be a situation where if North Dakota lets this game get away from them, Tennessee Tech has the ability to boat race teams. We've seen it all season. Now, are they the level of North Dakota, the teams that they were boat racing? Absolutely not. But Tennessee Tech has that in them. So if North Dakota lets this game get away from them, it could get ugly. It could get ugly. But statistically, I mean, both teams are tops in the country in a lot of numbers. North Dakota's top 15 in a lot, top 20 in a lot. Tennessee Tech's top 10, top 15, top 20 in a lot of it as well. So we will see. Something has to give. These are two good football teams. They're in the playoffs for a reason. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I think all the games in the first round are going to be good. Not all of them, actually. There's a couple that I think are going to be blowouts, but this game is another one that I think that could be really, really good. So you guys let me know in the comment section what you think about that, and I will move on. Okay. Lamar versus Abilene Christian. The winner of this game will play Stephen F. Austin. And both teams have played Stephen F. Austin already this season. Abilene Christian, did they lose? I think Abilene Christian beat Stephen F. Man, I don't know. I'm going to look it up. Let's look up Abilene Christian football. ESPN. Okay, I'm so sorry. But both of these teams have played this year. I just can't remember. I always forget. Stephen F. Austin beat Abilene Christian. That's right. Stephen F. Austin beat Abilene Christian this year. But both teams have already played Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin also beat Lamar, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they beat them like 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was like the last tough game on Stephen F. Austin's schedule for them to kind of shore up that Southland Conference title. They went undefeated in the Southland Conference. They did not lose a Southland Conference game. The toughest game they played was probably against Lamar, but we're not talking about Stephen F. Austin right now. We'll get to them next week. Abilene Christian lost to them. Lamar lost to them. So two teams are going to have to play an opponent that they've already lost to. I like Abilene Christian in this game. I'm not a huge fan of Lamar. I think Lamar has kind of skated along throughout the season. They narrowly beat SELA 14-12, and then they lost to Abilene Christian by about 10, 12 points. So I like Abilene Christian in this game. Abilene Christian has the better victory this season against Tarleton State. At the time, Tarleton State was like the number 2 or 3 team in the country, and Abilene Christian was able to take them down. So the one thing, there's a lot of things. I think Lamar's really good defensively. Lamar is decent defensively. They got the number 15 passing defense in the country, allowing 174.5 yards a game. The number 25 scoring defense, so they're top 25 in the country. Number 46 rushing defense. But one thing I don't like about this Lamar team is the 2-quarterback system, man. The 2-quarterback system. Lamar is the number 118 passing offense in the country. They average 152.8 yards a game through the air, and then they're the number 82 scoring offense. I think Lamar would be a better team had they had a consistent quarterback all season. They've played 2 quarterbacks, Robert Coleman, and then I'm blanking on the other guy's name, but they've played 2 quarterbacks. The other guy I'm forgetting he played the whole game last week, but I just don't love I'm not a fan of the two quarterback system. I don't think it promotes confidence in your quarterbacks. I don't think it gives them I don't think it fires them up. I just don't think quarterbacks are able to play with confidence when they know, hey, if I make too many mistakes, if I don't play clean, I'm at jeopardy of getting pulled out of the game. So I like Abilene Christian in this game. And statistically, I mean, Abilene Christian doesn't really stand out to you. They're really good on third down. They got the number 14 third down offense in the country at 47.6%. But I mean, you look at the rest of their numbers, the number 20 rushing defense, that's really, really good. But everything else, they're not even top. They're not top 40 in really anything outside of passing offense. They got the number 34 ranked passing offense in the country. But I mean, nothing about Abilene Christian stands out to you either. But I just like what I've seen from Abilene Christian this year. Now, both teams lost to Stephen F. Austin, so I think this could be there has potential here to be another close game. And Lamar has really leaned on their defense this season. Obviously, nationally, Lamar's defense isn't great. But if you look at the Southland Conference numbers, Lamar's defense was really, really good this year. They played well within their conference. They played well against the competition that they played. Now, obviously, the playoffs, nobody cares about what you did in your conference because, now the time is now. You win or you go home. So we will see. We'll see what quarterback Lamar goes with because Robert Coleman played 2 weeks ago. But their McCown, I think, is the other guy. McCown, I think, is the guy that really I think he's been the guy that they've wanted to play most of the season. Aiden McCown, I think, is his name. He has played, but when they played Stephen F. Austin, Robert Coleman played. He was 8 for 12. Aiden McCown was 10 for 14. Neither had over 100 passing yards. I mean, they're just not a really good passing team. So we will see what's going to give in this game. But like I've said, I like Abilene Christian in this game. I was going to say a couple of my notes. Lamar has lost 3 of their last 4 games in the regular season, and that is not a good sign. That's not a good sign, man. Like I said, Lamar started the season off really, really strong. They lost to Incarnate Word, really a game they really couldn't lose. They beat SELA by 2, but then they lost to Stephen F. Austin, and they lost to McNeese 21-19 to finish the season. So Lamar has really been doing this throughout the back half of the season, and in my opinion, I would say they've really been exposed. And, the film is out on Lamar on how to beat them. It seems like the film kind of got out on how to beat them. And it seems like teams just started to repeat. Now, whatever that playbook is, hopefully Abilene Christian's able to tap into it for their sake. But we will see. I think it could be a good game. I think it's going to be a close game because I think Lamar usually plays people tight. But we will see. There's no telling. There's no telling in the playoffs. There's no telling in the playoffs. And both teams need to take care of the ball. That's really a big key in this game. But Lamar is not, offensively, Lamar is not good in anything. Number 82 scoring offense, number 67 rushing offense, number 118 passing offense, number 69 in sacks allowed, and number 107 in third down conversion percentage offense. Just off that alone, I lean towards Abilene Christian. Defense can only carry you so long, and defense wins championships, but you need a competent offense. You need to be able to run the ball. You need to be able to throw the ball, and I just don't know if Lamar can do that effectively enough to get a win in this game. So you guys let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below, and I will move on. Okay, we got Illinois State versus Southeast Louisiana. The winner of this game, unfortunately, has to go and play North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome. SELA was another team that looked really good throughout the bulk of the season. They got to the tough part of their season, and they kind of bumped their head. They lost to Stephen F. Austin. They lost to Lamar. Did they lose to? Let me be sure of that. They did lose to Lamar. I'm not certain they lost because I don't think actually they didn't even play Stephen F. Austin. That was the thing. They didn't play Stephen F. Austin. They only played Lamar. They did not play Stephen F. Austin. They lost to Lamar. And really that was their only FCS loss of the season. So SELA's been a good team this year. They're 9-3 finishing the regular season. And statistically they're pretty damn good, man. The number 12 scoring defense, and that's what they need to lean on in this game. That's what they really, really need to lean on this game. Originally, I leaned towards saying Illinois State was going to win this game. And I think actually when I spoke with Keenan last week, when we did our breakdown after the game last week, I think I said I think I said Illinois State was going to win this game. But after I've had the time, and this is actually what I said to Keenan too, I was like, man, I haven't really got to look at the game. I haven't got to look at the numbers. I don't really know who I like in this game. But after some more reflection, I think SELA has a good chance to win this game. And the reason I think that is because the team is led by their defense. It goes without saying that most of these teams that are in the playoffs are pretty damn good defensively. They wouldn't have won their conferences. They wouldn't have won as many games as they did if they weren't good defensively. But I think there's levels. But SELA ranks nationally number 12 in scoring defense. But also it goes back to How good is the Southland Conference? What is their competition? Let me tell you who SELA has played this year. Murray State, Mississippi Valley State, University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. That was a really good win. They won 45-31. University of Texas Rio Grande Valley finished 9-3. Now, they didn't play a ton of tough teams early on in the season, but they won. McNeese, they won 38-0. Northwestern State, they won 49-0. Houston Christian, they won 38-14. East Texas A&M, they won 59-14. Lamar, they lost. Incarnate Word, they won 10-7. And Nichols, they won 38-26. So, I mean, I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. And actually, I'm taking back what I said about SELA. I'm taking back what I said because I'm looking at the schedule and the one tough game they played, the one tough team. You can say Texas Rio Grande Valley is a good team. I would say they're a good team. But for the most part, they haven't played anybody. I mean, their schedule has been cupcake, and the one tough team in their conference, Stephen F. Austin, they didn't play them this year. So I don't like their chances. Illinois State is not highly ranked in really anything this season. The best thing they're ranked in is sacks allowed, so they protect the passer really, really well. But their passing defense hasn't been good. Their scoring defense hasn't been good. Their rushing defense has been middle of the pack at 49th best rushing offense. They haven't been good on third down. I mean, Illinois State has been beat up as well. Both of these teams, Illinois State has won tough games, though. That's the one thing that Illinois State does have on their side. They have been able to win tough games, and I actually want to look up because I'm not certain. And I remember Keenan, he mentioned that he was picking Illinois State because we have a former strength coach at Montana, Coach Nicholson, who coaches at Illinois State, also Travis Niekamp, who was our special teams coach. He was there. But Illinois State beat South Dakota State. Illinois State beat South Dakota. Illinois State lost to Youngstown State by 5. They did get beat down by Southern Illinois to finish the season. That's not a good look. But it's a rivalry matchup. Things happen in rivalries. But I mean, damn, it's tough. Illinois State's been more battle tested. They've won more tough games. So I would give Illinois State the nod, but I think it's narrowly. I'd narrowly give them the nod. SELA, number 12 scoring defense, the number 7 passing defense, the number 30 ranked rushing defense, and they're number 12 in the country on third down. And then they're also number 7 in sacks at 3.17 sacks a game. So statistically, SELA is good, but they played bad competition most of the season. How are they gonna fare against an Illinois State team that plays in the best conference in FCS football? I mean, they gotta be good, man. Although the Southland Conference got 3 teams in the playoffs this year, they have not really played any big non-conference games this season. I lean on that. SELA has been led by their defense this season, but their offense must also come to the party. It's got to come to the party. And I would say, Illinois State's probably got better offense than they do defense. But for Illinois State, their defense has to come to the party. If their defense isn't going to come to the party, it's going to be a long, long day for them. Illinois State lost every important game this season except for South Dakota State, who was missing their starting quarterback. They need to find a way to make life hard for SELA in this game, and it comes down to the defense for Illinois State. I think Illinois State has good pieces on their defense. It's just playing as a collective unit defensively. That's what they need to do. The biggest matchup in this game will be the ISU passing offense versus the SELA passing defense. ISU really needs to win this matchup to come out with the victory. The passing offense, ISU passing offense versus the SELA passing defense. The ISU passing offense is the number 62 passing offense in the country. The SELA passing defense is the number 7 passing defense in the country. Illinois State really needs to win that matchup. That is a big matchup in this game. Another big matchup in this game is third down. Third downs are so important in any game. Third down is always big, but it's even bigger in the playoffs because you either win or you go home. Whichever team can win on third down will probably win this game. SELA has been one of the best teams in the country on third down, and this may make things difficult for Illinois State. It just comes down to, for me, for this game, it just comes down to how good will the SELA offense and defense translate to playoff football, because you are not playing a Southland Conference schedule anymore. You're not playing against Southland Conference teams. You are playing against the best of the best. These are the 24, maybe top 30. Some of the top 30 teams in the country are playing right now. So wherever they match up statistically, it matters, but it doesn't. Win and move on. Win and advance. Win and go get beaten Fargo. That's really what this game is about. Who is going to be the tune-up game for North Dakota State in the second round of the FCS playoffs? I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just trying to be realistic. Neither of these teams are going to beat North Dakota State. I'm sorry. So that's what I think about Illinois State versus Southeast Louisiana State. I think I've really tossed this up, man. I know I've piggybacked. I know I've said Illinois State. I know I've said SELA. This is really a toss-up for me. This is another game like I said, we got a really good slate, man. These first round of games, if you really get into the numbers, you really look at these teams, it has the potential to be really, really good football games. But if SELA ends up being just a top Southland Conference team and not one of the top teams in the country, Illinois State can really run away with this thing, man. And I lean towards that outcome more than I lean towards it being a really good game, just because I don't have a lot of faith in that SELA schedule. I don't. So I'm sorry. That's what I think. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think about that, and I will move on. Okay, next I will be looking at South Dakota versus Drake. The winner of this game will play Mercer. This is a rematch from the regular season. I'm almost certain South Dakota won this game by like 3 scores. And sorry, I'm looking it up right now, but I'm pretty sure South Dakota won this game by like 3 scores. And that's the thing. I don't know why they would rematch these teams. Obviously, Drake is the automatic qualifier out of the Pioneer, so they're gonna get into the playoffs. But yeah, South Dakota won this game 42-21, so they won by 3 scores. And I like South Dakota to win again. It's nothing against Drake, and that's the thing. That's the funny thing is Drake is pretty good statistically. Their passing offense is abysmal, but they got the number 5 scoring defense and the number 18 rushing offense. But that's because they play in the Pioneer. That's not because they're truly there. It's because they're playing against a lackluster schedule. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on the Pioneer. It's a non-scholarship league. They play good ball. I think Presbyterian was deserving of a playoff spot this year, but I get why they didn't put them in, because their 2 losses on the season are from Pioneer League teams. But then it's like you kind of got to counter that with like, oh, they beat the SoCon champ though. So what are you saying about the SoCon if the team that beat them is 10-2 isn't in the playoffs? I don't know. But the winner of this game will go play that SoCon champ in Mercer. And I think, Mercer is not a lock to win their second round playoff game. They are not a lock by any stretch because of what we know about the SoCon, what we know about what Presbyterian did to them, all that stuff. I expect USD to win this game by multiple scores. Both of these teams can run the ball well. Who is going to be the one to stop the other's run game? Statistically, Drake's run game has been stronger than USD's, but USD has had to play much stiffer competition this season. Drake has been good defensively this season, but they also only beat Pioneer League teams. Drake did not beat anybody outside of their conference. They did not beat anybody. Actually, let me fact check that before I make that statement. I'm almost certain. I mean, I know their 2 losses. I know 2 of their losses this season were to Missouri Valley Football Conference teams. They lost to South Dakota State 37-21, and they lost to South Dakota 42-21. Their 3rd loss was to St. Thomas. Drake hasn't beat anybody. Did they beat? They beat Upper Iowa. They beat Valparaiso. That's another Pioneer. Yeah, so Drake only beat Pioneer League teams this year. They did not beat anybody outside of the Pioneer League, and I don't expect that to change. It's nothing against Drake. It's just a fact of the matter. Their 2 losses this season came against MVFC teams, one of them being USD. 2 of their 3 losses this season came against MVFC teams, one of them being USD. LJ Phillips will have a big game against Drake, and that is what USD needs to lean on. I think this game starts and finishes with LJ Phillips. It's the run game. Lean on him. Let him eat for you. Another reason why I say that is because South Dakota's passing offense has not been super strong, and that's Drake's chance to win this game, is if they can force South Dakota to have to throw the ball. Stop the run. They got a pretty good rushing defense. They're the number 24 rushing defense in the country, allowing 128.6 yards a game. If they can find a way to really make this South Dakota offense one-dimensional and make Aiden Bauman beat you with his arm, I think Drake may have a chance, but they lost earlier in the season by 3 scores. So who would give this team a chance? Who would give this team a chance when you have the matchup that happened earlier in the year now? And that's the thing to me about this game is you lost to South Dakota when they weren't playing their best ball. South Dakota was a shell of themselves earlier in the season than they are now. They beat you by 3 scores when they weren't who they are now. They are much better now, and it doesn't look good for you, man. It doesn't look good for you. The best bet Drake has to win this game is for USD to throw the football. USD is the 104th ranked passing off, and I think that's wrong. I think I said the wrong. Yeah, so I was looking at Drake's. Yeah, but South Dakota's not that good. They're the 95th best passing offense in the country at 178.8 yards a game, and that's where I was. If Drake can slow the USD run game and force Aiden Bauman to throw it, that is where they can have an advantage. Where they may run into issues is if USD is able to pass the ball efficiently also. That can make life hard. If you allow them to run the ball, if you allow them to run, pass, run. I mean, if you just allow them to run their offense, it's not going to be good to you. Due to both teams being good in the run game, both teams have to make a concerted effort to be great on first down. Winning first down is big for both football teams because running football teams want to get 4 to 5 yards on first down. That leaves their whole entire playbook open. You got to be good on first down. You got to get tackles for loss. You got to get tackles for 1-2 gain of 1 or 2 or no gain. You got to be really, really good on first down. That is a key for this South Dakota football team. That is the key for this South Dakota football team. A big key for this. Both teams is being good on first down. Being good on first down can win you the football game. That means you get them behind in the chains, especially for Drake. If you can win first down and then force Aiden Bauman to have to throw the ball, it's not that Aiden Bauman can't do it, but I just don't think Aiden Bauman has the same weapons that he had last year. And I think that's been one of the differences we've seen. I've mentioned that all year. Winning first downs gives them a chance to get ahead in the chains, which is super important. I like South Dakota in this game, but you guys can let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below, and I will move on. Okay, the final game we are going to be talking about is Rhode Island versus Central Connecticut State. The winner of this game will go on to play UC Davis. This is another rematch from last season. Rhode Island played Central Connecticut State last year, and they won 21-17 in a really close game. I don't know if we see that type of game this year, but we will see. I do not have high hopes for this game in Central Connecticut State because I do not have high hopes for this Northeastern Conference. I just don't think very highly of the Northeast Conference. Obviously, they get an automatic qualifying bid, which I like. I like the fact that every conference gets a team in because one of these years, these conferences are going to be able to put together a team that can challenge people, and I want them to have a seat at the table. So that's where I will always stand. I will never be an FCS or FBS elitist. I want everybody to have a seat at the table. I want everybody doesn't deserve the same voice at the table, but everybody deserves a seat at the table, meaning everybody deserves an automatic qualifying bid. So that's where I'm at with that. Although they were able to win the NEC, they still took a loss in a severely down conference in the FCS. They did take an NEC loss, and that's really my point about this is like, for the NEC to put out a really good team, they gotta run the table. They gotta go Lehigh because the Patriot League is not a very good conference either. But Lehigh's 12-0. They're really good defensively. They get to the passer, and that's what they hang their hat on. And you see where they're at. They're one of the top 8 seeds. The NEC is going to have to get to that point, and they're not there yet because they still beat up on each other. Mercyhurst had a chance to beat them. They lost to somebody. I can't remember who Central Connecticut. They lost to Duquesne 2 weeks ago. They lost to Duquesne, who has been the automatic qualifier a couple of years ago. But Central Connecticut State, it's good that they're here, but I like Rhode Island in this game. But, Rhode Island lost to Brown. So, hey, they are not perfect either. Rhode Island beat Maine and New Hampshire this season, but also lost to Brown in the middle of the season. They are more battle-tested than Central Connecticut State, but the questions become, how strong is the CAA this year and overall? That's my biggest question. They got 3 teams in the FCS playoffs. None of them are particularly strong. Villanova's a good team. New Hampshire's a good team. And Rhode Island's a good team. None of them are great, and none of them will win the national championship this season. But I think they can get to the quarters. I think Rhode Island can potentially get to the quarters. They play UC Davis. I think Rhode Island will have a better chance to beat UC Davis than Central Connecticut will. I'll tell you that right now. I don't think Central Connecticut has any chance to beat UC Davis. So I lean towards Rhode Island in this game. Statistically, Rhode Island should win this game by multiple scores, but given what happened last year and the one FCS loss that Rhode Island took, I think this game has a chance to be closer than expected. We'll see how hard Central Connecticut State wants to play. They clearly wanted to play hard last year. I think they actually came out with the lead last year against Rhode Island, and Rhode Island battled back and won by 4. I think this is going to be a game where URI gets a big lead and runs away with it. I expect Marquise Buchanan to have a big game against this Central Connecticut State defense. Let's look at the numbers. Rhode Island has the number 8 passing offense at 282.1 yards a game. The number 14 passing defense. They're 15 in sacks per game. They're number 12 in third down conversion percentage offense, and they're number 11 in third down conversion percentage defense. So they're good on third down offensively and defensively. They pass the ball well, and they're good at stopping the pass, obviously because their defense is going against a good passing offense every day. But one number that I'm looking at for this Rhode Island team is number 92 in sacks allowed at 2.50 sacks per game. They are allowing their quarterback to get brought down to the ground. If Central Connecticut can make life hard on their quarterback, on Rhode Island's quarterback, I think they can have a chance. I think they can have a good chance, but they gotta be able to get to the passer. They really gotta be able to get to the passer. Central Connecticut State statistically is in the middle of the pack, but if they were truly an elite team, they would have been able to dominate their conference. They're middle of the pack statistically and the worst conference in FCS football, which means they would be near the bottom of most conferences. The Big Sky, the CAA, the UAC, the MVFC. And that's my biggest point. That's one of my biggest points about this game is like you look at Central Connecticut State's numbers, they're middle of the pack in the country. Well, if they're middle of the pack in the country statistically and they're playing in a bottom tier conference in the NEC, where do you think they stand, in most conferences? They would be a bottom team in most conferences. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on the NEC, but it's just the fact of the matter. It's just the fact of the matter. The best thing that Central Connecticut State does nationally is they're number 16 in sacks allowed. So they protect the passer, 1.25 sacks a game, and then scoring defense, they're 22.58. But even looking at that number in scoring defense, you play in the NEC. So I like Rhode Island a lot in this game, and I think it'll be a bigger spread than what it was last year. I think Rhode Island can win by 2 to 3 scores. But Rhode Island has been known to bump their head. They've been known to play with their food a little bit. So we'll see what Rhode Island wants to do this week. But I like Rhode Island in this game. So you guys let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below, and I will move on. Okay, I want to thank you guys so much for tapping into Akem's analysis. I'm previewing all the games. Obviously, there's no Big Sky games this week, so we couldn't talk any Big Sky football, but we're talking about every game going on in the FCS playoffs. I thank you guys so much for tapping in. If I got some new listeners that don't usually listen to me and are listening to me in the playoff time, I want to thank you guys so much as well. This video has been brought to you by Sportsbet Montana, the exclusive betting partner of Akem's analysis and the Samuel Akem YouTube channel. For all your sports betting needs, please go check out Sportsbet Montana. They will take care of you. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the channel. Tune in on Monday for my recap video where we're recapping all the games from the FCS playoffs. And yeah, we will chop it up. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, and I will catch you guys next time. See you later.